Okay, so I'm gonna get closer to the mic. So this is episode not really one or two. I mean, it's probably episode one, but this is the something like a podcast with Aaron Swarm,
Yep.
and I'll just go by Mr. Butcher. So we're talking about the Boogie Cousins injury. So tell me what you know about this injury.
So what I know was this morning I looked at my phone and they released that he tore his ACL officially.
Okay.
He was playing ball and with it looked like a couple of his friends, and he was going up for a layup and just, I guess, landed wrong and fell down. I feel sorry for Cousins.
Yeah, someone that we both work with was telling me about it, but he didn't say it was his ACL. He just said
It was
like
officially
it
came out.
so today it officially came out.
Because they said they was feeling it. They ran some more tests. Come to find out, it's officially he's done for the regular season.
Wow.
And he's been struggling with injuries. What was it, the Achilles tail when he was in New Orleans as a Pelican, and then he had like some kind of like quad injury. It looked like when he was with the Golden State Warriors last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now this man that can score 20 points and 10 rebounds, 5 assists a game, is going to be out.
Going for the season.
And the Lakers was like, what the hell? What just happened?
Yeah.
Signed a 1 year, $3.5 million deal with the Lakers on July 6th.
Okay, so I'm a Lakers fan, as you know. So the listeners, they should understand that I'm a Lakers fan. So when it was told to me, I told the person that we're still going to be okay because I have so much confidence in LeBron and AD. Now, Boogie Cousins was almost like an insurance policy for us because, like you said, he's giving you 20 points or whatever. So we could, rely on that. But I still think LeBron, being the way he went out last year, he's going to come back with a vengeance. And Anthony Davis, being in a new uniform, has something to prove to the LA fans and the world because he's on like the biggest stage right now. So I think those two coming together, I feel personally, they're the best 1-2 combo in the NBA. Now, what do you think?
I think it's going to be whether or not if AD and LeBron can get along because they both want the ball.
Okay.
They're both going to want. They're hungry. They're high scoring players. It's going to be if can LeBron shield the Rock because I noticed that a little bit last year when I was watching some sports stuff that. If you look at it with the young people that they had around him, it seemed like he always wanted to go. I watched one game of the Lakers where he kept going to the basket. He wouldn't pass the ball. So yeah, it's I feel that they can do something. Can AD and LB get along?
Okay, so I'm going to use what you just said. LeBron, we all know, is one of the greatest passers of all time. So you have Magic Johnson, John Stockton, LeBron.
I think he was pressing a little bit last. That's what I should have added. I think he was pressing a little bit because they was trying for a playoff spot, but then I think he was pressing a little bit because he's like, oh man, I'm a veteran of this club. I gotta get us going. I think that's what was happening in that scenario.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Mm-hmm. So like we know LeBron's a great passer, but being that they were like trying to fight to get to the playoffs, he had to score because no one else was really stepping up.
Nope. Josh Hart was being a disappointment. Brandon Ingram had injury issues.
Yeah.
He was being a disappointment. Now, Lonzo Ball, let's shift gears to that one. He surprised me.
Okay, so before we get to Ball, can you pull something up for me?
Yes,
because
I'm
recording.
Yeah.
How many assists per game did LeBron average last year? So with everything being said, with him still trying to will his team to the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, he almost averaged 8 or 9 assists a game.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, I forget the name of the site. It's not research.
Oh my gosh, what was it?
Well, in any case, I know for a fact it's between 8 or 9 assists a game.
I would say yeah.
Okay, so that just shows you his level of completeness as a player.
Mm-hmm.
So even though his players weren't doing as well as he thought they would do, because he tried to trade the entire team. So that lets you know that he wasn't totally happy with his group, but he still averaged 8 to 9 assists a game. That says a lot.
Yes. Now, piggyback off of that, though, since he got AD and it's him now Boogie Cousins is just kind of he's done. You know, like I said, that would have been a good start. He could fill in start Boogie Cousins, or he could come off the bench. I felt like he would have been the starter. Probably at power forward. He could play power forward or center. You can move AD to power forward or center.
Okay.
Now with this season coming up, it's going to be a big test now because now you got AD around you. It's no excuse that they can't get to the playoffs. My issue is with this is if they spuddle and they go through what they did last year and they try to push for the postseason again, is AD gonna get mad because LeBron James is trying to take it to the house instead of passing him the ball? That's what I'm saying. If when push comes to shove, can LeBron still pass the ball to his counterpart?
Now, did he not prove this in Miami?
I didn't say he didn't, but I'm saying
but he has proven that, and with Kyrie Irving, he gave him the keys to the car when they were in a tight situation. Right. He passed him the ball, so I'm not questioning that with LeBron. But my question to you, and we're over 6 minutes, so we gotta get to the next subject.
Let's get wrapped up.
What I will say is, where do you think, without Boogie Cut? Okay, I'll give you this. Where do you think the Lakers would have placed with Boogie, and how big of an impact do you think it's going to be for the Lakers without him? Like, where do you think he's going to
I think the biggest impact that without Boogie is because now you don't have that 20-point, 10 rebound assist guy that can come in and fill in starter. If you want to make him a starter, you could do that too. You could do both off the bench or starter. Only 29 years old, still young in the prime of his career. I feel it's going to be really hard for him to get that production out of somebody else. I'm not saying that JaVale McGee, because he did sign back with the Lakers. Yeah. I'm not saying he can't do it, but he's not a 20-point, 10 rebound. He's not. He can get you maybe 10 points to 15 points and possibly 5 to 8 rebounds a game, but that's still low compared with Boogie Cousins. And on that note, we're going to just wrap this up.
We'll wrap that up. I did have one thing I will say about JaVale McGee because I'm a big fan of his. He gives 100% effort.
He does.
So, okay, he can't score like Boogie Cousins can score. He probably can't rebound like Boogie Cousins can rebound. But he's almost like on the level of DeAndre Jordan. So you could lob it up. You know, if you go to the basket and you don't have anything, just lob it up. He's around there. And he's a good shot blocker. So I'll give JaVale McGee that. But he's no Boogie Cousins in that stretch. Okay, so the next topic is the shooting in... Correct me if I'm wrong. Was this South Philadelphia?
I believe it was South Philadelphia.
South Philadelphia, yes. And someone, I think it was you. I think I talked to you, and I was saying that someone said that the shooting was around Temple.
It was around Temple University. It was 4 officers that I know of. Full report that was injured and was rushed to the hospital up there.
Okay. Now, I just saw something on Twitter maybe 3 or 4 hours ago. So before we get into that, because this is like a curveball, which I don't know how you're going to feel about this, what I saw, but let me know what you know about the situation.
So I know that I just know a little bit because I didn't watch much of the news just because of with stuff like that happening. The world is cruel. I just don't like when stuff like that happens. But I know that it was a standoff. It was a guy with a gun.
Okay.
Like I said, I should have more information about it, but I know that this guy with the gun, 4 officers was injured. They was rushed to a nearby hospital that I know of. None of them died. It sounds like to me that it could have been some kind of terrorist attack. But what else did you find out?
The thing that I saw on Twitter, I'm going to hold off for one more second. But what I was interested, what I want to know was there like any hostages? Like, why did they just hold up in a building? He's pulling it up right now. I want to know like what kind of started this.
6 police officers were shot and wounded after trying to serve a warrant. A suspect later surrendered. So Philadelphia. Okay, I read that. Government on Wednesday that began when they tried to serve a warrant. Are you serious? And ended more than 7 hours later when the suspect surrendered. The authorities said the officers were taken to local hospitals where they were treated and later released. The police said the suspect was taken into custody around midnight. His hands raised as he emerged from the house north of Central City. The police commissioner identified the suspect as Maurice Hill, 36 years old, who has a crime history. The shooting started at about 4:30, promoting SWAT teams to coverage on their home in Nicetown section of the city. So, okay, let me see.
So basically, what I heard was they were trying to serve this person a warrant,
and you just gonna go up and file him for what?
Yeah. So now I'm wondering what was the warrant for.
It doesn't give me all that. Yeah.
But what I saw on Twitter, and I don't know if you could pull this up on Twitter, but someone showed a picture. They said the cops had kind of faked some of this. So they showed a video of a cop running to a car and another cop spraying fake blood on him. Now, I didn't listen to the audio. I just watched the video.
What was it under?
So it's Twitter. I retweeted it. So hopefully I'm going to try to go on here and it doesn't cut off the recording. It's still recorded.
Okay, let me see. I can go in on YouTube. Let me see. YouTube.
And I just saw this, like...
This right here, wasn't it?
Yes, that's the one. So, does it have audio to it?
Let's see. No.
So there is no audio. But what does it look like to you?
It looks like they were staging something.
Now you can see all the red stuff that was on the ground. And then he closed the door. So, I don't understand what that is.
I don't understand that either. Like, that's... Oh, I smell conspiracy.
It could be.
It could be because I know for you listeners, you guys can't see this, but in the video that's on Twitter that's out that has over 45.7K views, there was two officers running to the car. It looks like one that pulls out some kind of fake blood or something out of his pocket, sprays on the officer's arms, and then you see it, like drop on the ground as he's getting into the police cruiser.
Into the police car.
So that's...
So, yeah... What do you think about what you just saw?
Oh, dude.
For the first time you just saw that, what do you think?
I think that it's more to the story than what they're letting on.
Okay.
I feel that because I love conspiracies.
Okay.
You know, I watch a lot of conspiracy shows, but I think in that scenario, if that's the case, if somebody's shooting at you over one, because that doesn't make sense. You come and saw somebody one and they just open fire on you. That's right there. Right. That raises up a flag. Like that doesn't make sense. I would say in a situation like that there's more to the story that the cops don't want you to know.
Okay.
It seemed like they could be framing somebody.
Okay.
What do you think?
That's kind of a interesting question because, like you just said, there's a lot of conspiracies. I mean, dating way back before we were even born. Mm-hmm. So to see things like this, it's almost like the first question that comes to my head is why would they stage this? So I'm gonna give you this. There's a movie called Wag the Dog, and in Wag the Dog, I think it was loosely based on the Bill Clinton. So you know when Bill Clinton had the thing with Monica Lewinsky.
According to everybody else, she was underneath the podium as he was giving speeches.
I never heard that.
I was always told that, like, that's a little laughter for you guys, but that's what I was told. Sitting there giving him some stings under the podium as he's giving speeches.
Okay. Well, first of all,
put it past it.
I wouldn't put it past it, but I've never heard that. So I'm not saying that hasn't happened. But from my understanding, it happened in the White House. But my point to saying that is, in the movie Wag the Dog, it was almost like when there's something that happens that the government doesn't want you to know about, they'll throw you off their scent. So it'll be stuff like this, like a mass shooting. So when Bill Clinton and all that stuff went on, and they want to throw everybody's attention away from that, then they'll do maybe like a mass shooting or... just something to take falsify it to take your attention off of it.
Which people like that thinks logically that if you got evidence right there that shows
that's
otherwise.
Evidence. Right.
I wouldn't put it past nobody that because again, obviously, nobody when it comes to the government, if they don't want you to know something, they will make sure that you don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
basically.
That's very true.
So with that scenario right there, I don't know what was going on or what. If that was staged, was the hospital in on it too? Because all this didn't get really rushed to the hospital.
Yeah.
See, that raised a lot of flags, a lot of questions on who else was involved.
Yeah.
If it was staged. Now, we're not going to, let's don't get into the can of worms because we don't know.
We don't know.
That could have been something else.
But we do know. So we don't know, but we do know from the history. Mm-hmm. So we do know at least recently, I just found out that like the media is a mechanism to control people. So they're only going to show you what they really want to show you,
which is correct.
Right. So I'm gonna give you a perfect example, and I'm glad it spilled over to this because I wanted it to be a topic. So the Epstein, what is his name? Jeffrey Epstein.
I believe so.
Okay, so the Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm gonna give my credit to the Joe Rogan podcast because they were talking about it, and they kind of put my idea that idea in my head. So they say that Jeffrey Epstein. So for those who don't know, do you know the full story about him?
No, I do not. I never.
So for those who don't know, Jeffrey Epstein, I think he was a billionaire, and he was caught up in like the child pornography.
Oh my gosh.
So, but this is the thing. So to my knowledge, and when I post this, and people can post, correct me if I'm wrong. To my knowledge, he knew a lot of people that were like up in like a high status, and they were actually like doing the child pornography too. No names were ever mentioned. So apparently he had this island where he could bring children onto, and then the celebrities could come to this island and live out their sick, fucked up fantasies, with kids. So this is the thing though. So you do know that he died in jail. Okay.
Don't doubt
okay.
It.
Okay.
Maybe somebody else gave him.
Okay. So this is the thing. So he died in jail, and they said it was a suicide by hanging.
Nope.
Oh, so you already know. You already know it's something.
It's something fishy right there, because it's like I smell conspiracy. I smell that either maybe the government had him killed, or maybe somebody in the prison system found out what he did.
Okay.
Killed him, then make it look like it was staged, like it was a suicide.
So I'm glad you're on that train because that's where I'm getting to. So of course they come out with these things where they say he committed suicide. So just like the Hernandez, what was the guy that used to play for the Patriots?
Aaron Hernandez, I think that was staged too.
Okay.
I think somebody killed him too.
Right. So when I heard this, that's the first thing I thought about. So with him, and I'm giving credit to the Joe Rogan podcast where he said that they showed his prison mate. His prison mate looked like Hulk Hogan on steroids. Like he was cut. And apparently he was like, I guess he was like ex-military. So a lot of people believe that he was the one who killed Jeffrey Epstein because, like I just stated,
they don't like child molesters or child.
They don't like child molesters, but it's bigger than that. So like I just said, when you have all of these high-profile people who are doing this, now he's in jail. Do you think he's going to tell? Nope. So before he gets to tell, you got to take him out.
So it could be somebody up that was pulling that string.
Right, because then they're going to come down. So just the way he went to jail, and I'm not going to put this on anybody. So let's just say there's a person who's a billionaire and they have all this power, but they have this sick, fucked up fetish where they want to mess with little kids. So before Jeff Epstein can speak their name, no, I got money. Get him taken out. So when I read the
is the cops still investigating, or is it a closed case?
That's a good question that I don't know 100%, but I do know they say he hung himself, but then they also said the blood vessels in his eyes popped and he had like broken bones in his neck.
That doesn't make sense.
So
from
that's
hanging, no.
Yeah, so
from hanging, it won't break your neck.
It'll kind of like separate it.
It'll separate.
It'll like snap it.
Yeah, snap. Yeah.
So like Joe Rogan was saying, maybe that guy. And they showed a picture of this guy, and he was huge.
They have no evidence to charge him with. Yeah.
He could have just broke his neck himself. The guy, because like I said, they could have gave him some money and said, look, we'll give you X, Y, and Z, or make sure your family's straight. He's got to go. We're not coming down with him. He has too much information on us. He's got to go.
We don't know what he was. Maybe we don't know what he was in jail for. Maybe he could get out. Maybe we don't know what his charges.
We don't. We don't.
But I know is that with that simple fact is the way that the injuries was on him.
It doesn't seem like a just. And this
the blood vessels won't break if you hang yourself. I know that for a fact.
Okay, so they were also saying that like certain people like this, they're put on like a suicide watch, so they don't have like bed sheets or things that they can hang themselves with. So that's just food for thought, man.
You and I would get more into that, but that's another conspiracy.
That is another conspiracy, and conspiracies are a interesting thing. They are very fun,
even though we have no solid proof of anything. But with the video that I explained to you guys earlier about that one cop spraying fake blood on the other cop's arm,
yeah, that's wild. And
that's gonna come crashing down eventually. I think
that will.
The truth will definitely have to be some reporter will find out the real truth on that. And guys, we'll have more information on that once it finally drops.
And I was gonna say today is what, August the 16th.
Yes, it is.
So this just happened yesterday.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
This is Friday. This happened Wednesday.
So you just imagine like all the big stories when it happens. Everybody like the Jussie Smollett. That's a perfect example. Do you know this story?
I just keep leading me.
Okay, so Jussie Smollett was an actor on Empire. So you know the show Empire, right?
I have seen it. I've never got into it. Sorry for all you Empire fans. I know you guys loved it, but I didn't care for it.
But just to wrap it up to make this point, like how something can happen and then later on, like more evidence can come out. So Jussie Smollett, he came out and he said that he was attacked by, I don't even know if he named the race of the people, but apparently he was outside going to Subway at maybe 2, 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm going to stop you there. First of all,
okay,
why in the world would you be going to Subway between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning, especially if it's a sketchy part of town and everybody knows your face because you on national television because you're an actor.
Right.
Common sense would tell you, say, hey, either have a bodyguard or have food in your house.
Right.
Because when you get famous, you cannot do the stuff that you do.
Right. So, see, you're very smart because a lot of people didn't pick. I picked up on that too. I was like, it gets worse. Trust me. I'm just telling you.
I had to say that.
I know you did. I'm just telling you the first part. You already picked up that is bullshit. So apparently he was outside at 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning in Chicago, and they're saying this was one of the coldest nights in Chicago.
There you go. I'm going to stop you there. Coldest nights of Chicago, probably the worst place that you could be in Chicago because there's a lot of crime that happens in Chicago.
Right.
And it probably was the worst part of town to begin with. Even so, if it wasn't, you're out there when it's pitch black. You got maybe some lights on, but still it's not illuminating. Everybody knows your face.
Right. Maybe
they were stalking you.
All right, but Kyle, it gets even worse.
Go ahead.
It gets even like more insane. So he was going to Subway at 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what time it was, but it was after midnight. He was going to a Subway. One of the coldest nights. Why are you out? This is where it gets really weird. So apparently while he's out, there's 2 men wearing MAGA hats. Now, Jussie Smollett is a light-skinned guy. He almost reminds me of, I wouldn't say Prince. He's a little darker, but almost like kind of that persona. So there's 2 white guys. He didn't say the color, so I'm not going to say white because I don't think he said it was color, but I think they kind of implanted that in people's mind by saying they were wearing MAGA hats. So 2 people wearing MAGA hats had a noose, put the noose around his neck. I think they called him the F word. They called him that. They had a noose, put it around his neck, and then poured bleach on him. Here's where it's like, what the hell were you thinking? So after all this happened, he goes back to keeps the noose around his neck. He doesn't take it off.
That doesn't.
He keeps the noose.
My God. You guys are hearing that? He keeps the noose around his neck. I'll go home and say, yo, I'm going to go show my butler. I just got a noose. I just got attacked and somebody put a noose around my neck. The common sense tells you to take it off, maybe call 911, say I was just assaulted.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Continue. That's hilarious.
So, yes, he kept the noose around his neck. And I guess, I don't know if he called the police or whatever the case may be.
Doesn't sound like it.
But whatever, all this stuff came out and people were outraged. Oh my goodness, this Trump supporters. And long story short, it came out he was lying. So the 2 people who staged the attack actually used to work. I think they were his personal trainers, and they're from Nigeria. They're these like big, strong black guys who staged the attack. Now this is what's coming out. So I think it's still in like litigation right now where they're trying to,
they should charge him for
charge him for something. Yeah. So that's what they're saying. Like, you wasted the police department's time with this lie, and then why are you lying about this?
Is it proof in the pudding that you try and get more out there? You kind of hurt your career because now you lied to.
Actually, they wrote him off the show, if I'm not mistaken, they like wrote him off the show.
So he's like I just said, he killed his own.
Yeah, he killed his own self off, and then apparently the show is like about to go off now. And Empire used to be like one of these top shows, but this madness here
ended his career.
Is done.
Yeah, I guarantee he hasn't started anything since that.
He hasn't. But my point was, sometimes when the first initial news comes out, we're all like, "Oh my god!" But then later on, this Jussie Smollett thing was probably 15 days to a month. Like all this shit just started happening.
They had to figure it out.
And it was like, yeah, it didn't make sense, but then people were still like, I'm going to stand behind him. So with this Jeff Epstein and all these other, in the future, whenever something comes out, me personally, I'll listen to it. I'll put it through my own filter. Like, does this make sense? And then later on, the truth always comes out.
It's the same with like we talked earlier about the cop spraying fake blood on the other cops' arms. Mm-hmm. That I want to continue to research because that's definitely gonna come out. But like you said right there, that doesn't. That when you told me that he had a noose around his neck and he walked from wherever
the assault happened. He walked from there all the way to his apartment with the noose still on. Come on, man.
It's like if somebody really wanted to harm you like that. You were seen, if you saw the face, they would have killed you right on the spot. You would not have been walking.
Right. That's my thing. It's like, if they really wanted to do something, they would have really did something to him. So apparently he had like a small scratch under his eye. And then, this is the funny thing. So apparently he went to like this meeting after the assault happened. And he said, I fought back. And the crowd went crazy. And then he said, I'm the gay Tupac.
What?
You don't believe me? You can pull it up if you want. He says, I fought back. He was in front. He was telling this whole crowd. I don't know what it was, a book signing, whatever it was. There's a crowd of people. He was telling the story, and he said, at the end, I fought back. And that's resilience. So the crowd went crazy. But why at the end would you say, I'm the gay Tupac? He said this. He said this. This came out of his mouth.
I'll be honest with you. This guy making, I don't know how much money he was making off Empire, but I can tell you it was a pretty penny.
Yeah.
You're getting paid more. You people like you and I, that's broke as shit.
Right.
That's trying to make ends meet.
Right.
Okay. We are not gonna. If we got a chance to get something like that, making maybe 10 to
I would not mess it up ever.
Same $20 million an episode of Empire, I will. They couldn't find nothing because I'll make sure I'm squeaky clean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a prime example right there. You just can't fix stupid.
You can't fix stupid. And I don't know if it was a publicity stunt.
I believe it was. It sounds like it was.
Yeah.
It could cost him.
But for what? This is the question.
His career.
But at what cost? Yeah, it cost him his career, but what was he doing it? Maybe because a lot of people don't know, like, he plays a singer-songwriter on the show, but he's actually one in real life. But the show is more popular than his music career. So people don't really know about him. So maybe this had to do something with it. I don't know.
No, but he killed himself. Like, it'll be hard for him to get anything. He's probably going to go to jail for false, using the cops' resources for nothing. It's like I said, guys, I don't know how many guys are. Steve Wilkos show, I know we're getting off on the tangent here, but Steve Wilkos is my favorite show. I love what that man stands for. I like how the good that he does.
Okay.
For example, right there, there's people on his show that comes in that's putting false allegations of child molestation on their ex or something because they're jealous because they moved on or something like that, but they never go to jail. But this guy that's famous that did that stunt could face some charges. So what's between this guy and people like that, like women that's falsifying stuff on their exes, or it comes out that's not true? Because I have watched a lot of cases on Steve that he covers the truth that the man was innocent.
Okay, that you're right. That could spill over into a whole nother topic.
Yes,
because that happened to Emmett Till, and a lot of people might not know who Emmett Till is. So we'll just leave that for another topic.
For a little day,
But before we started recording, I told you that I wanted to talk about Spirit, but I'm not going to get into that right now because I want to do more research on it. But there is one thing, and this is more on a fun note, that I thought about. If you had to pick your favorite. No, not your favorite. The greatest invention of all time. What would it be?
Greatest invention of all time. What that we have? It could be anything.
Anything. And I'm putting you on the spot because this is beautiful. It's right on the spot.
It is beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I would say the iPhone. The way that Steve made the iPhone, the very first one back in 2007, it fits right in your pocket. It's convenience. You can search up the news. Okay. Oh, Josh Gordon reinstated the Patriots wide receiver in the NFL. Now, if you guys don't know who Josh Gordon is, he's been battling a lot of marijuana issues, a lot of drug abuse addiction.
Okay.
He keeps getting kicked out of the NFL. He stepped away from the NFL to try to get himself back together. See, it's convenience. That's why I would say the iPhone is my favorite invention that was made by Apple. Even though Steve Jobs was the face of it, technically he did not invent the iPhone. I forget the guy that did, but somebody else invented it. He was just the face. But it was Steve's idea. Still across the board, Steve did have a hand in it.
That's the iPhone.
Favorite. Yep. What about you?
Well, you kind of stole it, but not really. I was going to say the computer, but that's what an iPhone is. It's a personal computer. Oh, I got you. It's a personal computer. It's still recording, too. Oh, incorrect pin. I'm trying to put my pin in. Yeah, it's still recording. But that's what a phone pretty much is just a personal computer. So you can make phone calls. You can look up videos. You can do research. Calls. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, I know. Even if you wanted to, if it was a 911 emergency, this computer that you could put in your pocket can do everything. Almost everything. Whatever you can think of. I want to go to dinner. You got your phone. I want to see what Bob
Twitter
is doing.
By the way, I love Twitter. Okay. I have my own sports Twitter out there. I like to talk a lot of sports.
Okay.
I try not to be biased. I try to be, even though I got like favorite teams and stuff, like football, Panthers, baseball, Phillies. Oh, guys, that we could go off on that, but let's chill with that. All right, Phillies, hockey, Flyers, and I watch a little basketball.
Right.
I won't say I like the 76ers. I like a couple basketball teams, but I like to watch all kinds of sports. But with that is you can definitely, it's easy.
Everything is in on there.
Is you can have it's too much sometimes just because you have it at the palm of your fingertips.
Okay, so this is the thing. We're actually recording this podcast on a phone. He looked up and researched questions I had on a phone. Everything you can think of, you can go to your phone.
Just imagine what happened in the early 2000s. You had these old ratchet phones that you just flip up and you couldn't do what you do now.
Right.
And almost 20 years later, look what it's become. And guess what? These iPhones, these actual phones in general, is almost like a house payment. It's like $1,000. The new iPhone 11, if Apple releases it in September, this still gonna be $1,000, $1,100. But they saying in 2020 it might go up to almost, depending on what they throw in the 2020 iPhones, it could be up to almost $1,500 to $2,000 a pop. What is Apple thinking? Like,
no.
With that.
Okay, what is Apple thinking, and then what is the consumer thinking?
No, the consumer is not going to, because this is another story that we could talk about. But let's save this for another day, just because of. I'm gonna talk about it just a little bit.
Okay.
But guys, we have to save this for another day. This is gonna be another topic. iPhones are made so strongly, you don't need to upgrade. So what I'm saying is, if I really wanted to, I could upgrade to the 11 if I wanted to. If not, I could keep my iPhone that I got now because I just got it. It's strong enough. The batteries are still up there. That they make them too strong. Yes.
That was what I was going to say. And I was just having this conversation with a young lady, and she was talking about the same thing about getting the new iPhone. And I said this. I forget which iPhone it was, but the only thing they changed was the headphone import. So instead of it being at the top, it was at the bottom.
That was a while ago. Because
it was a while ago. It might have like 5-6 years ago. 5-6 years ago. But I just remember everybody standing in line, and I'm like, all they did was change the input.
One the secret about Apple. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not bashing Apple. Sorry, Apple. I do love your brand. I do love the brand. I'm just saying this. I'm thinking logically now.
Okay.
Is that Apple? They don't have to change much. They know that the consumer will buy their products.
They do.
Because they're nice. We're all about, oh my God, black. Oh my God, blue. Coral, yellow, red.
Okay, so being that you're an Apple user, what because we had this conversation before too. And it's almost like a fight between Android users and Apple users.
It is.
But why? They almost do that. You can download any app and do the same thing.
Is the software. You have a different software. I have ISO.
So,
I have ISO software. I don't know what your software is, but I know mine is ISO.
Right.
It depends on your private preference. Even though you like Android, obviously you do.
Yeah.
But let's say one day you tried an iPhone and you're like, shit, it's the same. I like the system better. Might switch over. But with Android users, Apple really, if they're trying to convert people from going from Android to Apple, they have to do a better job than what they're doing, to be honest with that. Because some Androids, you can do a lot of things that you can't with Apple. Me, personally, I love the way Apple does things now. I want my handheld. That's the difference between Apple and Android. Apple holds the consumer's hand. That's why a lot of people knows how to use this. For example, I found out that it was a photographer, somebody that was traveling the world. He was in Africa. This kid in Africa picked up his iPad, but knew how to use it. The guy didn't even explain it to him. So Apple, the way they try to work Apple products is really explained to me. I can look at it and know how to use it. Where Android, you have to figure it out. Plus, Apple is a little bit more private with the system. They want you to have all this firewall stuff to make sure that nobody can break into your thing. I'm not saying Android doesn't do that, but I just like how Apple makes you feel safe.
Okay.
And I like how it's easier to use. I don't have to say, okay, how do you do this? Plus, I like when my text message like this comes up on the home screen. I'm not saying that they don't that doesn't do that Android, but I just like the overall.
The look and feel of it.
Yes, the feel of the iPhone. I had it, guys. I had an Android before. I didn't like it. It was one of the old ones.
Okay.
It was the Apple. It was Apple. I mean, it was Amazon Fire phone when they first came out with that. It was my very first phone.
Okay.
I should say smartphone. And I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time. It was at the park. It rained.
Okay.
And it got destroyed. That's when I went to Apple, and I've been with Apple since 2014, 2015.
Okay.
I went back to Apple, but since 2014, I didn't have a cell phone before that. I had like an iPod.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes,
yeah.
And then I got my Android phone, and then I went back to Apple because I'm like, I have no issues. One thing I also like with Apple, you don't have issues with it hardly. People say I have issues. Okay, what's your issue? Okay. I had Apple since 2015. I had no issues with none of the products. Either you're doing something wrong or you just keep dropping the damn device. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, Apple does have a reputation for everything. Like even the MacBooks and everything. Like they're supposed to have these like impenetrable devices that don't take on viruses, or it's just hard to get a virus on the devices. It is.
Like say with my iPhone, I don't have any viruses on it. No.
Okay.
A lot of people has issues with the keyboard, with the recent iMac Pros, where they were so like made well. If you eat what common sense will tell you these.
Okay.
What's wrong with people? It's like, what's wrong with these people? You're spending almost $1,800 to like $25,000 on the freaking laptop, and you're eating next to what comes getting into the
yeah.
And then
they don't care.
And it's tearing up the thing. Then they want to go to the app. They want to post.
Kyle, I'm gonna be real with you. So I was thinking when you were saying that, I was thinking maybe they should put like a keyboard protector on it, like that plastic sheet. But if Apple is charging people $1,800 to $25,000 or whatever they're charging them, this high amount, they should have something input on the keyboard.
I agree, but also in Apple's defense, common sense will tell you don't eat, don't drink, don't do nothing that's going to get something stuck in your keyboard. Use your laptop when you have nothing like that around. Like I said, that's an Apple's defense right there. Now, going by what you said, Apple should have did something like that, but they have an argument, a kind of argument that they should have took better care of the stuff.
Yeah.
Now with this one, I'm going against the consumer side. They had another Bangate, with the new iPad Pros that when they came out like a little bit last year. Oh, how long they've been out? Like 6 months, 7 months, 8 months now. Well, if you did like this, they used to break easy. Well, Apple came out and said, well, why are you guys bending it? And they heard about that. So it's like, it still doesn't matter. That's on them. That's not on the consumer. Now, I'm on the consumer side now, and Apple needs to address that, which they did. But with that, all that said is, yes, I love Apple. Apple's my brand. I love, I will go to bat for them, but then
Okay.
I wouldn't be skilled enough to point them out because they do some things that you're like.
Yeah, but it's all to make money.
It is.
It is all to make
and
money.
now I'm gonna shout out this guy. I love watching him on YouTube. Everything Apple Pro.
Okay.
I love watching what he has. I know you guys probably know who he is, or some of you guys do. I love watching his stuff. Apple doesn't care for him as much because he tells the truth about Apple. He reveals leaks that he's getting from
Okay.
from people that like Minchi Co. and stuff like that, from other sources that may have some information. So I like watching him. I'm not believing any information that he says until whatever Apple does, because Apple can do a 360. So it's like, but
Yeah.
I like watching him because it's interesting, and it's also, again, it's like a conspiracy.
there's a lot of conspiracies, but then they come out to be true.
Yep.
Just because they might be like far-fetched ideas, and then like we were talking about that Fresh Prince one, that's just a silly conspiracy. And even if it was true, who cares? It has no impact on our lives.
Exactly.
But the conspiracy of some cops getting shot and then come to find out that they were like spraying fake blood, I think that has more of an impact because your government and the media is lying to you.
Mm-hmm. Unless the media doesn't know and they're trying to figure it out.
They could, but like I said, this whole wag the dog thing, they're all in bed together. Someone comes up with these ideas. They stage these ideas. The media takes coverage of it, and then they bring it out to you, and then you consume it. So, yeah, I was just watching Bill Clinton get his Peter sucked off. And, but I'm being real. It's crazy, but I'm being real. But I was just focused on Bill Clinton getting But seriously, I was just focused on Bill Clinton getting head in the Oval Office, and then all of a sudden this new news has come out, and now I'm focused on that. Mm-hmm. And that's what they
nobody gives a crap about what happened back. That was back then. Nobody gives a crap. Everybody talks about it still, but who cares?
Yeah.
He had an affair. Who cares?
It got him impeached.
Yep.
I don't know if that act, because my memory's not the greatest, but
I still think
the acts that led up to it got him taken out of office.
I think, again, with that scenario, I don't blame the government for doing it. They protected themselves.
That's
pretty much still saying, "We're throwing you to the wolves. Goodbye."
Yeah, and we're 40-some minutes, so we were talking about 45 minutes to so we're coming up close. But I will say this, so you're big on conspiracies, right? And we were just talking about all of these things that were going on in the news, and how sometimes the government knows things, or maybe some unseen entity knows things or constructing things. So when you watch Family Guy and you watch The Simpsons and you see certain things in the cartoons, and then later on it happens in real life, then what does that mean? What does it mean when they show a Family Guy episode of Robin Williams committing suicide in the Family Guy episode, and then it happens in real life? Or when they show in The Simpsons, they show Bart Simpson holding up a 9 with 2 towers that says 9/11 way before 9/11 happened. This is in the cartoons, and then it happens in real life. So that's beyond conspiracy, because they showed it to you and then it happened.
We need to tread lightly, yo, because
Why is that?
Because we have no evidence to be pointing at our own selves. You get what I'm saying? On our own government saying maybe they planned that, maybe they planned all these attacks.
Okay, Kyle, if we can't do that, then give me an explanation on what happened. Why is it when you watch a cartoon and you see something in a cartoon, and then a couple months later it happens in real life?
Again,
what is the explanation for that?
It's none. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So why should we tread lightly? Because like you just said, you have great common sense, I have great common sense, and we both can pick up on energies. I can move this out if your legs are getting... We both can pick up on energies. So when you're watching something, no matter if it's a cartoon, whatever it is, because they hide stuff in movies too, you see it. Oh, that's interesting. Why would they... And then it happens in real life. Like, what would you say to that? That's...
Somebody did something that wasn't supposed to, they're not trying, they did bury it.
Okay, so would that lead you to believe that a lot of people already know certain things?
Yep.
And then we get it later?
Yep. So I'm not saying treason against our own country, but
I'm not saying that.
But I wouldn't put it past anybody that for a fact that you show it into something that was shown into a cartoon. Didn't it happen like I don't know what year that one came out.
A few of them. Well, I know the Bart Simpson one. And I wish I had my laptop, so when we get the computer, I'll be able to pull it up on the phone while we record, so I can just show you the evidence. Like, I'm not just making this up. This is real stuff. Where they have an episode of Bart Simpson holding up.
You can't be a politician, to be honest.
Yeah, okay? Well, that's why I would never even think about politics, because I'm all about truth. But he's holding up this booklet. I guess it was like they were going to travel to New York. The Simpson family was going to travel to New York. And on the booklet, it had a 9. Like the trip cost $9, so it was a 9. And then they showed the Twin Towers next to the 9. So what does that equal?
9/11.
That was way before 9/11. This was probably in like 95, 94 when this happened. So you want to talk about 2000, and that happened in 2000, right? September 11th, 2000. 2001.
It's September 11th, 2001.
So you're talking about 5 or 6 years later it happens?
Yeah. Again, there's a reason. See, now we can go off to this. We all know that Osama bin Laden did it. But who says that somebody above him didn't order it?
Yeah.
And that's why. See, we don't know everything.
What do you think, though?
I feel somebody up above him ordered it, and then he went to hide and try to save his life.
Why do you think they ordered that? Why would you think someone will order that for innocent people? And I'm gonna give you a head crack too. Why do you think that they ordered this to happen, knowing that innocent people might lose their lives?
Honestly?
Yes, absolutely.
I would say maybe. Obviously, they started a war.
Yes,
they did with that over there.
So you reminded me of something, but I'm gonna let you finish your thought.
They was trying to start a war, or again, it's people that they are evil. They don't give a two shits who they run over. If they gotta step through you, they're going to step through you. So a lot of people that day that lost their lives over, I think 320. I forget the actual number, but I know it's a lot of people that should never died that day.
So 2 things. One, and I don't know how true this is, but I got it from a source. This source seems to, like, every time I listen to him, well, he's passed away now, but every time I listen to him, he seemed to be on point. What he told me was there were certain people who got phone calls that said don't show up to the Twin Towers on 9/11. Because maybe they knew what was going on and they just got the phone call to call out of work or don't go, whatever the case may be, just don't go. So those people were like kind of saved from, the airplanes going into the towers. And then secondly, this has happened multiple times. So they talk about, I forget the name they call it, but like you just said, when you do something, then it gives you the opportunity to say, oh, we were attacked, let's go to war. But the war is not for protecting our country. It's for getting resources, like getting oil or taking over some land and doing whatever you want to do with it. So they did this, apparently, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, where I guess the submarine got attacked and then they used that so they could go into Vietnam. Or Pearl Harbor, where they used that so they could go attack.
Obviously, we bombed the shit out of them right there.
Okay. Yes. So that's my point. Like, these things could be, I don't know. I'm just saying.
They could be connected.
They could be staged so they could, okay, now we can go and conquer your land and take your resources in the guise of protecting ourselves. Now, if you do like some deep research about like some of these things, I'm not even going to get into it because I don't know fully, but there's been things that's been said that there's been people from the countries that got attacked that were actually over here doing business, and then these things unfolded. So it could be both sides. You never know. I don't know. These are just things that I'm here that I haven't like really pieced together. But we're coming up on 50 minutes. I don't want to be long-winded. We had some good conversations. This was good. This was good.
We do need to cut some of it out though.
Okay, so
because it is long.
It's still kind of around an hour, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Do you think it's better to just have natural conversations than to put a timeline or time limit?
I think we should. I think we should do this just because the fact is we seem like we're going better than what we do.
Natural conversation is a lot better.
If we script this, it's
going to be rigid.
It's going to be like somebody's reading off a teleprompter. We're going to start filming it. So guys, if you guys listen, like, describe, whatever. But we're going to start filming it. So when we start filming, you guys will be able to get a chance to see and interact with how reaction is to stuff. We should start filming it maybe next Friday or the Friday after that. I'm going to get with my camera operator on that, see if because we're going to be doing stuff every Friday. We should drop it every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
And then hopefully you guys like it. I'm going to, once this is edited, guys, I'm gonna put it on my Twitter page at Alan Swarm 03, which is my sports page. I talk about sports. I'll go off on change a little bit, but it's mainly a sports page. But it's podcast. I put it on there.
Right. And I'm gonna put it on my Twitter. That's RM. It's at the numeral 1 RM. The 1 RM. Absolutely. And we will get with you next time. This was a treat. I love doing it, and hopefully it'll be more to come.
Yes, hopefully it will be.
All right.
And you guys dress your night. Peace.
Peace.